Oh my giggity goodness. Hello, everybody. Trooper 6 here, once again, with Zero. Episode 3. This mini is brought to you by the Bearded Bison. So again, another special thank you to them. Him. I think he has a team. I don't know, man. But I want to thank you. I was talking to him about this mini coming in, and I told him, you know what, dude, I'm so excited for it that I am going to go ahead and use this for my YouTube channel. So here we are. And here we go. So we've got that down. The jungle green, more or less, is doing its thing. Scaly hide is definitely, we talked about this last episode, so very much a tonal change. So not only are we going shades brighter, but we're almost going into a completely different color here. So I myself am ever so slightly worried about it, but I'm also curious. And you know what they say about the curiosity? If you don't know what they say about the curiosity, then I don't know what to say. And I don't know why I started doing this voice. So we're going to stop. Anyway. Doesn't look too bad on the palette. Woohoo! Sorry about that. Doesn't look too bad on the palette. I figured I'd bring the palette into view for you guys so you could see what exactly I'm doing here. So, I know it's out of focus, but if I could just... No. So what I'm doing is just trying to get some paint. I don't feel like moving the palette right now. Just trying to get some paint basically on the tip there. All right. Yeah, that'll work. Look at that. And it doesn't have to be all that pretty either, because it's an energy blade. So energy flows and is usually energy is kind of fluctuating and inconsistent. So the fact that the bristles will sometimes put something lighter a little deeper into the blade rather than toward the edge where I'm like really working it actually could work out, like right there, and then a little splotch right there, but then it thins out and then goes thicker right there and then thins out. That actually works for us. It's okay. Because energy, in my opinion, is almost unpredictable, man. It's some crazy stuff. And then, of course, we're going to come back in with white, and we're just basically going to hit all the edging, even on the backside, I think. We're just going to hit all that edging and base down here at the base of the blade. It ought to be interesting. So, one thing I found interesting, actually, is the fact that we're still listening to Mega Man Zero soundtrack, right? However, I also have never beaten that game. I never really got too far with it either. So I'm hearing music that I've never heard before, that I have no nostalgic bond to. So that's been interesting for me. Get that dry blended into there, because I know there's kind of a stark right there. But this underside has actually been a bit of a challenge for me, if you guys hadn't been able to tell. It's nowhere near like this. With this, you can actually see where the blending, and it's not the prettiest right now, but I almost guarantee you when we get this paint over here, I'm kind of keeping it off camera a little bit. When we get that on there, it should help solidify the blend. And it's not a shade. But this side I'm almost a little worried about. I don't know. Partly is because of how the primer just did not take, but I couldn't keep spraying it either. That was something that just couldn't happen because it was going to get too bogged down in other places. I was going to lose detail. It was going to pool. It was going to run. So I just kind of had to do what I had to do. Work with what I could. Which I guess you could see as an excuse. I'm not sure. I also don't really care. But I know we got to get his chest plates, or I'm sorry, his chest gems. We got to get those. And those are going to be a particular green, right? So we're actually going to jump right back into a different green altogether. We're going to go for that army green that is still there. We're going to get them nips. Get them 0 nips. Because I've noticed his green gems don't contrast brightly. And then what we can do eventually is we can cover them in a gloss to really make them shiny, because the rest of this stuff is basically going to come out matte. Basically. If anything, it would be a nice satin. It still has a nice little sheen to it. Oof. This one's coming out a little textured. That's not cool. It means the paint's drying a little bit. The brush ain't doing its job either. It's okay. We're going to try it again. Get a little bit. Just a little bit. The brush is still a little wet. There we go. Now sometimes I have a little trouble with certain paints, like most of my greens or even some of my blues. One, they didn't apply all the best. Like I said, that jungle green was real liquidy. It worked more or less for here, but it just wasn't working. And I didn't even want to call it like a layer paint because it just wasn't going on like that. But either way, it's doing okay. It's doing okay now. But I think it might be time for some white, just to change things up again. All right. This matte white that we're using, we have used plenty before. We're going to put pretty much in the center of the palette. I don't want to use too much. I don't even know if you can see that. Doesn't look like you can see it. So we're actually, we might jump up a size in paintbrushes. So I was using a 1 for a lot of that. Right now we're going to use the 2, I think. To give you some reference for what I was doing earlier, when I was doing all the red and even the black, which speaking of, since I forgot about his body right there, get that black right on out, and we're going to touch it. We're going to do it. Because between all these episodes, I've been looking at the reference pictures, just making sure that I absolutely am doing what I need to do. And man, we got too many ads going on. And no, I don't use an ad blocker. Oh, the whole thing changed. We're now on to Mass Effect Ambiance. Oh no, my favorite game ever. So sad. Man, that threw me off. That threw me way off. Anyone who was holding on to what I was saying, you're a trooper. Not a trooper 6, but you're a trooper. I was looking at reference pictures for this thing. I try to do that in between the episodes. Really familiarize myself, even though I've been doing that for the other models. Still, it's not something that I paint on the regular, and with things jumping around the way they do, I just want to make sure that it's all good. Like, for instance, actually, under here, this ball right there, and there, those are actually supposed to be white. Yeah, but it's okay. It's my Mini, right? And you can paint them however the hell you want. Well, I'm probably just going to leave it red, because painting white over that might be a bit of a headache. We'll see. We'll see, because this white over the gray can also still just be a headache, because the white likes to not apply itself all that well. Thinning it out could help, of course, if anyone wants to jab at me for that. But what we're going to do is we thinned it out by spreading it, and then if it needs, we will do layers. But actually, this is turning out to be okay. All right. I hope everyone's been doing okay again. Doing well. It is early in the morning for me still here. I don't know what time you guys are watching any of this. This is the earliest I've ever recorded. I wanted to get a jump on things. I was still 2 hours late for it, though. Basically, is what that was. I was going to wake up at 5, and I was going to do this. I was going to just start recording at 5 a.m. Fuck it. Problem is, 5 a.m. came, and it went. My alarm went off because I was supposed to be at work, but I'm out sick. With our 12-hour shifts and being outside, dude, I needed time to rest. Think of that what you will. I don't really care. But I know me, and I needed some time to rest. But it also has worked out in my favor. It's given me some time to do this. The Mini showed up, I primed it, and here we go. But yeah, my alarm went off at 5, and I was supposed to get right up, come over here, and be all groggy and paint and be like, "Mah, mah." But we didn't do that because I was too tired for that. It's a bit of a piece there we might just have to cut. A piece from the printing that is connecting the hand to the gauntlet. Might just have to do a little surgery and cut that little fucking prick off. Yeah. This is a nice Mini, man. I don't know if I really have stated that yet, because, I've just been kind of painting, going for it, and not really, I don't know, I've been honed in on the painting. I'm sure there have been a few times where I've repeated myself on series, talked about something, then I re-talked about something. But I do want to point out again, if I did already, if I haven't, either way, that I like this Mini. It's not my favorite pose. I would prefer something him standing being more stoic. But my God, This mini is great. I like it. Their printer did a damn fine job. Everything has been pretty awesome so far. So I highly recommend for anyone out there, if you want to look up the Bearded Bison, he is on Instagram. He says he's not that active on there, I think. I'm not entirely sure if I'm remembering that correctly. They can get more stuff, more things on the printing list if you really really want. I'm pretty sure like the demand has to be there. So if anything, bombard the hell out of them. Send them messages, especially if they have a social anxiety. Get them. Bug them. If they have a social anxiety, they shouldn't be so socially acceptable on a social media platform. We're gonna bug them. We're gonna drive them nuts. It's okay. I would apologize, Bearded Bison, but this is what you get. This is what you get for giving me the okay. As I said, I was going to use this most likely for my YouTube, and I would give you all the credit, all the shout out and everything. No kickback whatsoever. I don't care about that. I bought a mini from you. Y'all printed it and you sent it, and that's all I needed. And we're having fun with it. And it's awesome. Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're playing Mega Man. That didn't flow right. And neither did that. My God. So, here we go. Try to flatten that out a little bit. So the head came out a little grainy, as you can see. A little textury. And it's okay. It happens. But now we're going to hit those shoulders. Big flat areas. So should be more or less easy. I say that. But like most whites, it will take a couple of layers to work with. And like secretly in the back of my mind, I've been wondering when it comes to the wash, what exactly am I going to do? Am I going to just hit him and really shade the hell out of him? Or am I going to try to be more pinpoint accurate and really let that white shine? Like the soul glow. Gotta let your soul glow. My God, that was terrible. Did you hear that? Fucking terrible. That was terrible as something else that just popped in my head, but I don't want to get negative on this. Let's just say I almost left work one day to come home to beat an electrician to death. Long story short, they had a taser in the house. Why you would ever have a taser in a customer's house is beyond me, you dumb motherfucker. And then apparently, I don't believe it, but apparently my children were like looking at it on his belt. That's nonsense because they don't like him. They fucking hate him. They're quiet and they stay away from him. That's why I very much like my children. Is like most children, they have no filter. And if they don't like someone, they stay away from them. They make it very well known that they don't like them. But anyway, motherfucker pulled out the goddamn taser and was snapping it off. Scared the shit out of them. So I had the atypical parent thing. The parent, if you want to call it an overreaction, that's fine. But I had the atypical parent reaction, and I got so fucking heated. I was being told everything via text, and I almost dropped everything right there and went home. And I'm pretty sure I would have gone to jail if he wasn't going to be a man about it and just accept what was coming to him. Which this is how the country has been. You know, you can't just teach someone a lesson anymore. No. Now you have to take everything to court. And I would have some kind of hope that the judicial system wouldn't punish me for his stupidity. And I'm sure there'd be people out there who are like, well, it didn't require violence. The fuck it didn't. You came to my house and you scared my fucking innocent children with your bullshit weapon. And I don't care if it's a self-defense thing. I've got a taser as well. But you don't bring it into a customer's house and you damn near sure don't fucking snap it off to children. You don't. You don't do shit like that. But anyway, that's our quick rant about that. I want him dead. Yeah. I am going to also put it on the record that I am not going to fucking touch him. Not going to do a goddamn thing to him because, of course, I don't want to go to jail. I ain't got time for that. I got a family to take care of. Oh, man. But I sure do fucking hate him. Always disliked him, and then that shit happened. And I was like, okay. And if anyone tries saying anything, well, that's what you get for letting him in. It wasn't my fucking choice. You don't know the whole situation, so let's not even go there. It's my fault for even bringing it up in the first place. Anywho, jumping topics. Man, I hate that fuck. Anyway, what are you guys doing today? You chilling? Anybody else sick? If so, I'm sorry. Anybody off of work? If so, awesome. I mean, unless it's a bad situation? I don't know. I don't know how you are with your job. My thought process, I guess you could call it a philosophy for employment at the moment. So if I can't pay my bills, I am not loyal to you whatsoever. You have not earned a shred of loyalty from me. And anybody would be like, well, then don't work there. Again, mind your business. Having to do what we have to do, right? I just can't stand when companies would be like, well, how dare you look at other jobs or anything like that. Like they had some people, they had just started maybe a month before me, and they're already leaving because they interviewed for another job on their day off, and now they're going over there. And they were like, well, I wish they would have told me. That way I could have talked to them and tried to convince them not to go. What the fuck are you going to do? You going to fucking pay them more? No? Well then, what are you going to do about it? If you're not going to pay someone more, why would they stay? Why do you think they're leaving in the first place? They're not leaving because, oh, I think I'm just going to like that job better. No, they're leaving because they're getting more money. Why the fuck is anybody leaving? Money. You know why people like money? Because it helps you be alive. And the dude doesn't even have all that much to worry about at the moment. Like, he has no kids. He doesn't even have pets or anything like that. It's just him. So he's getting to bank a lot of it, man. But if it was me And they were like, well, why the hell are you leaving? Because fucking money, dude. What are you going to do about it? Again, are you going to pay me more? And when they say no, okay, why the fuck am I going to stay? That shit never made any sense to me. Would I like to stay somewhere and make a career out of it? Personally, no. Personally, no. I don't want to do any of that stuff. This is honestly what I'm doing. This is my future. If I make a career somewhere, fine. Then that's my choice and that's what I do. But it's not who I am. It's not what I am. It's just some job I turned my brain off to do. Mainly because we do what we have to do in order to do what we want to do. And I spent a year doing what I wanted to do. And I know it was irresponsible. I absolutely know it. Not saying it was a good choice. It wasn't necessarily the worst choice either. I could have absolutely been a deadbeat and just not done shit. But I've been actively trying to build this into something. And like any millennial, it would start to go, well, maybe I just wasn't working hard enough at it. I could always have done more. Anytime we try to enjoy ourselves, apparently, and I don't even like lumping myself in with other millennials. Mainly because the millennials were given such a bad rap that I was like, I don't want to be lumped in with them. Why would I? Have the rest of the world have this goddamn stigma about me just because? They'd be like, what are you? Are you a millennial? Fuck you. Be treated like the boomers? Or even the Gen Xers who have been minding their own business. At least in my experience, they've been minding their own goddamn business. Yeah, could have called them the silent generation. Either way, though, it's just a funky world, man. Funky, funky world. I would very much like to get on with life. Be happy. Be fucking healthy for once. Christ. Whew. Getting a little tight for this ankle here. Look at that. And this white is running out because we're spreading it out so much. But it's also kind of drying up on the palate. And that does not bode well for us for the Mini. Because once it starts to dry up, it'll start to cake up. And things are not going to look very good. I was about to say well, and that's just not the right word. So, we're going to have to just keep going. Keep going. But yeah, if you people agree with me about the whole work situation, cool. If not, that's cool too. You don't have to agree with it. I don't care if you do or not, because it's honestly not your life anyway, right? But then again, we're making it, I guess, your business by putting it out there on a platform like this. But I think that's about as far as any of that will go, because I really just don't feel like bringing that kind of attention. I'd rather sit here and talk to you guys about fun shit, about some stupid shit, about some game shit, or some Mass Effect shit, which is game shit, but still, some Mega Man shit. Well, there's a question to ask, but we can ask that on the next episode, because I just now looked at the time. We're sitting at 29:45 on my end before editing. And for me, that's long enough for now. We've gotten some white done. The Mini's really starting to come to life now. But I will see you guys on the next round. This is Trooper 6 with Pungo Paints. Stay safe, stay healthy. If you're tired of your job, dude, think about the future. As Joker once said, think about the future. And I will see you guys on the next round, all right? Peace.